Welcome dear student and Jai Swami Narayan. Today we will discuss the solve numericals of the chapter number 2 unit and the measurement. So dear student, let's start with the first numericals, solve numericals given in the textbook. So example number 2.1, right? So calculate the angle of 1 degree 1 minute of a arc or arc minute and 1 second of a arc, or we can say the arc second in a radian. So here dear student, how we can convert degree into the radian, minute into the radian and the second into the radian? Use 360 degrees is equal to 2 pi radian, 1 degree is equal to 60 minute and 1 minute is equal to 60 second. So dear student, you know that 360 degree is equal to 2 pi radian, 1 degree is equal to 60 minute and 1 minute is equal to 60 second. So how we convert 1 degree into the radian? So here given that 360 degree is equal to 2 pi radian. So 180 degree is equal to pi radian. So that's why we can easily convert 1 degree into the radian. 1 degree is equal to pi divided by 180 radian, right? So remember dear student, 1 degree is equal to pi divided by 180 radian. So what is the value of pi? We put the value of pi 3.14 divided by 180. We get the 1 degree is equal to 0.01745 radian, or scientifically we can write like this: 1 degree is equal to 1.745 into 10 raised to minus 2 radian. If you replace this point, right, if you convert into the 10 raised to power, we get the answer 1.74 into 10 raised to minus 2 radian. So dear student, remember this value: 1 degree is equal to 1.745 into 10 raised to minus 2 radian. So understand, 1 degree is equal to how many radian? Now 1 minute is equal to how many radian? So dear student, we know that 60 minute is equal to 1 degree and 1 degree is equal to 1.745 into 10 raised to minus 2 radian. So we can write like this: 60 minute is equal to 1.745 into 10 raised to minus 2 radian. So 1 minute is equal to how many radian? So 1 minute is equal to 1.745 into 10 raised to minus 2 divided by 60 radian, right? So if you calculate this, you get the answer 0.02908 into 10 raised to minus 2 radian. So dear student, 1 minute is equal to 2.91 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian. So remember this: 1 minute is equal to 2.91 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian. So understand, 1 minute is equal to 2.91 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian. Now how we convert 1 second is equal to how many radian? So similarly we convert 60 second is equal to 1 minute and 1 minute is equal to 2.91 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian. So 60 second is equal to 2.908 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian. So 1 second is equal to 2.908 divided by 60 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian. So dear student, 1 second is equal to 2.908 into 10 raised to minus 4 divided by 60. If you calculate this, we get the answer 0.048466 into 10 raised to minus 4. That is approximately 1 second is equal to 4.85 into 10 raised to minus 6 radian. So dear student, understand example number 2.1. In the example 2.1, we need to convert 1 degree into the radian, 1 minute into the radian, and 1 second into the radian. How we convert 1 degree into the radian? 1 degree is equal to pi by 180 radian, right? Given that 360 degree is equal to 2 pi radian, then 1 degree is equal to pi by 180 radian. So if you calculate, you get the answer 1 degree is equal to 1.745 into 10 raised to minus 2 radian, right? Then how we convert 1 minute into the radian, right? So 1 minute is equal to 1 degree divided by 60. So 1 degree is equal to 1.745 into 10 raised to minus 2 radian divided by 60. You get the answer 0.02908 into 10 raised to minus 2. If you convert into the 10 raised to power, we get the 1 minute is equal to 2.91 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian, and then 1 second is equal to how many radian? So 1 second is equal to 1 minute divided by 60. So 2.908 into 10 raised to minus 4 divided by 60, we get the 0.048466 into 10 raised to minus 4, that is approximately equal to 4.85 into 10 raised to minus 6 radian. So 1 second is equal to 4.85 into 10 raised to minus 6 radian. Now example number 2.2. A man wishes to estimate the distance of a nearby tower from him. He stands at a point A in front of the tower C, right? The man stands at this point A in front of this tower C, right? In the front of the tower C, and spot a very distant object O in line with the AC, right? And spot see the distance of very point like object O from the line AC. He then walk perpendicular to AC up to the B, right? The man then walk from A to B, which is perpendicular to the tower AC. Now, and look at the O and C again, right? And then look at the O from the point this B. Look at the point O and point C again. Since O is very distant, the direction BO is practically the same as the AO, but he finds the line of sight of C shift from the original line of sight by an angle theta is equal to 40 degree, right? So the line of sight of the C is shifted by an angle 40 degree. So this angle is given to theta is equal to 40 degree, and this angle is known as the parallax angle, right? So for the more detail about the parallax, see the video of the measurement of the larger distance by a parallax method. Estimate the distance of the tower C from his original position A, right? We need to calculate the distance of the tower from the original position A. So here from the figure we can easily calculate the distance of the tower. This AB is given to you 100, right? We need to calculate this AC, right? A to C we need to calculate. Angle theta is given to you 40 degree. So from this figure, if we take a tan theta of this angle, right, tangent of this angle tan theta is equal to opposite divided by adjacent. So from the triangle ABC, right, from the triangle ABC, the tan theta is equal to opposite side is a AB divided by adjacent side is a AC. So from this figure, tan theta is equal to AB given to you 100 and AC we want to find, right? So AC is equal to AB divided by tan theta. AB given to you 100 meter divided by 1040. Now value of this 1040, you know the value of the 1030, 1045, 1060, 1090, right? But you doesn't know the value of 1040. How we can calculate the value of 1040? This value of 1040 we can calculate from the log table, right? So the value of 1040 is equal to 0.8391, right? From the log table, if you calculate the natural tangent, right, in the log you get the table like a natural tangent, and from this natural tangent table, if you find the value of 1040, you get the 0.8391. 100 divided by 0.8391, we get the answer 119.175. So the original distance from the original position to the tower, distance of the tower from its original position is a 119 meter, right? Now example number 2.3. The moon is observed from the two diametrically opposite points A and B on the earth, right? Two diametrically opposite point A and B on the earth, moon was observed, right? The angle theta subtended at the moon by the two direction of the observation is 1 degree and 54 minutes. So this angle at the moon is observed by the two different direction from B and from A is a 1 degree and 54 minute. So angle theta is given to you 1 degree and 54 minute. Given the diameter of the earth to be about 1.276 into 10 raised to the power 7 meter. So here the diameter of the earth or the distance between the two observation points A and B is given to you. B is equal to 1.276 into 10 raised to 7 meter. Compute the distance of the moon from the earth. We need to find this distance from the moon to the earth. So we need to find the distance between moon and earth. So first of all, dear student, the angle between the two direction is given to you 1 degree and 54 minute. So theta we take a 1 degree and 54 minute. We need to convert this theta degree and minute into the radian. So theta is equal to 1 degree 54 minute. 1 degree is equal to how many minute? 1 degree is equal to 60 minute. So 60 plus 54, we get the 114 minute, right? And 1 minute is equal to 2.91 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian from the sum number 1, right? So theta is equal to 114 into 2.91 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian. So first we convert this theta 1 degree 54 minute into the radian. So 1 degree 54 minute is equal to 114 minute, and 1 minute is equal to 2.91 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian. So theta is equal to 114 into 2.91 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian. So by the definition of angle, theta is equal to B divided by D, right? From this formula, D is equal to distance between moon and earth. Capital T is equal to B divided by theta. B is given to you 1.276 into 10 raised to power 7 divided by theta is equal to 114 into 2.91 into 10 raised to minus 4 radian. So if you calculate this, you get the answer 0.003846 into 10 raised to 7 and minus 4 taking upward direction plus 4. So we get the answer 10 raised to 7 plus 4, we get the 10 raised to 11, right? So if you convert into the point, we get the answer 3.85 into the 10 raised to 8 power. So if you move the decimal point from here to here, right, after a 3, so we decrease this power by a 3. So here decimal point is move on the right hand side, 1, 2 and 3 digit place, right? We reduce the power to the 3, we get the answer. Distance from the moon to the earth is 3.85 into 10 raised to 8 meter. Now dear student, example number 2.4. The sun's angular diameter is measured to be 1920 second, 1920 second. The distance d of the sun from the earth is a 1.496 into 10 raised to 11 meter. What is the diameter of the sun? So here dear student, sun's angular diameter theta is given to you. Here we take a alpha or theta, right? Theta is equal to 1920 second. We need to convert this 1920 second into the radian. 1 second is equal to 4.85 into 10 raised to minus 6 radian, as we already discussed in the example number 1, right? So 1920 second is equal to 1920 multiplied by 4.85 into 10 raised to minus 6 radian. The distance d of the sun from the earth, capital D, is given to you 1.496 into 10 raised to 11 meter. So with the help of the same formula as we used in the previous example, right, theta is equal to d divided by capital D, b divided by capital D, right? So from that, diameter of the sun d is equal to theta into d. Here we take a alpha, we can also take a alpha, right? So alpha is equal to d divided by capital D. So the diameter of the sun d is equal to alpha into capital D. The value of angle alpha is equal to 1920 into 4.85 into 10 raised to minus 6 radian, multiply by the distance of the sun and earth 1.496 into 10 raised to 11, right? So if you calculate this, we get the answer 13930.75 into 10 raised to 5, right? If you move the decimal point up to the 4 digit on the left hand side, we increase the power by a 4. So we get the answer. Diameter of the sun d is equal to 1.393 into 10 raised to 9 meter. We convert kilometer also. Now question number 5. If the size of the nucleus in the range of a 10 raised to minus 15 meter to the 10 raised to minus 14 meter is scaled up to the tip of the sharp pin, what is roughly is the size of the atom? Assume the tip of the pin is to be in the range of the 10 raised to minus 5 meter to the 10 raised to minus 4 meter. So here given that the theoretical question, understanding purpose, given this example. The size of the nucleus is in the range of the 10 raised to minus 15 meter and 10 raised to minus 4 meter, right? The tip of the sharp pin is taken to be in the range of the 10 raised to minus 5 meter and 10 raised to the 10 raised to minus 4 meter. Thus, we are scaling up the by a factor of a 10 raised to 10. If you dividing this 10 raised to minus 5 divided by 10 raised to minus 15, we get the factor, and the scaling factor is up to the 10 raised to 10 meter. Now, the size of the atom. An atom is roughly of a size 10 raised to minus 10 meter, will be scaled up to the size of the 1 meter. So if we multiply 10 raised to 10 multiply by 10 raised to minus 10, we get the scale up to the size of the 1 meter. So thus a nucleus in an atom is a small in the size as the tip of the sharp pin placed at the center of the sphere of the radius about the meter long. So roughly estimating the size of the atom is about a 1 meter. Now example number 2.6. Two clocks are being tested against a standard clock located in the National Laboratory. At the 12 noon by the standard clock, the reading of the two clocks are, right, clock 1 and the clock 2. The reading of these two clock is noted with the against the standard clock in the National Laboratory. So on the Monday, the reading of the first clock is a 12.0005, and the reading of the clock 2 is 10 o'clock 15 minutes and 06 second. On the same, all the days of the week, the reading of the clock 1 and clock 2 is measured. Now question is that if you are doing an experiment that requires the precision time interval measurement, which of the two clock will you prefer? In which of the clock the more precise reading is there, right? So in the first clock, if you measure the variation in the first clock, the range of variation in the time of the clock 1, right? First on the Monday, it measures the 12:00 and 05, right? And on the Wednesday, you measure the 12 11:59:08. So if you measure the variation, we get the 162 seconds of the variation, right, from Monday to Wednesday, right? Similarly, for the clock 2, from Monday to Wednesday, the variation is only a 31 second, right? Standard time is a 12 o'clock, right? So in the first clock, the variation is about 162 second, and in the second clock the variation is a 31 second. But the average time of the clock 1 is nearby the standard time. So the clock 1 gives the accurate reading, whereas the average time of the clock 2 is very far from the standard time. So there is zero error in a clock 2. The important point is that a clock's zero error is not a significant for the precision work, as it's a variation, because the zero error can always be easily corrected. So variation of the measurement of the clock 1 is a 162 second, and that of the clock 2 is a 31 second. So that the clock is very perfect, in which the variation is very less, right? So in this two clock, the variation from Monday to Wednesday is 162 second, and in this clock is a Monday to Wednesday, the variation is 31 second. So in the clock 2, the variation is less, right? So we prefer a clock 2 for the precise measurement, because in the clock 2 variation is a less, right? Now example number 2.7, we measure the period of the oscillation of the simple pendulum. In a successive measurements, the reading turn out to be 2.67, 2.56, 2.42, 2.71 and 2.80 second. Calculate the absolute error, relative error and the percentage error in the measurement. So here the successive measurement of the periodic time of the simple pendulum is given to you: 2.63, 2.56, 2.42, 2.71 and 2.80. We need to calculate the absolute error. How we can calculate the absolute error? What do you mean by the absolute error? The absolute error is the positive difference between the true value and the measured value, relative error and the percentage error. So first of all, we need to calculate the true value, or we can say the mean value of the period. So mean value of the periodic time of oscillation t bar. How we calculate the mean? Addition of all the observation divided by total number of observation. So here we add all the observation: 2.63 plus 2.56 plus 2.42 plus 2.71 plus 2.80 divided by total number of observation is 5. So if you calculate this, the mean periodic time, mean period of oscillation, or we can say that the true value of the period is t bar is equal to 2.62 second, right? Now calculate the absolute error in all the measurement. How we calculate the absolute error in all the measurement? The error in the measurement are the difference in the true value and the measured value. So here the true value is 2.63. So we subtract all the measurement from the true value, right? So first measurement is 2.63. So 2.63 minus 2.62, we get the error in the first measurement delta T1 is equal to 0.01, right? Second measurement is 2.56. So 2.56 minus true value is a 2.62. We get the error in the second measurement delta T2 is equal to minus 0.06. Now third measurement is 2.42, right? So 2.42 minus 2.62, we get the error in third measurement delta T3 is minus 0.20, right? Similarly, on the fourth measurement the error is 0.09, and on the fifth measurement the error is 0.18. Now what is the average absolute error? The average of all the absolute error, the positive absolute error, is called the average absolute error. So we calculate the average absolute error delta T bar is equal to average of all the positive error in all the measurement, right? So mode of delta T1 plus mode of delta T2 plus mode of delta T3 plus mode of delta T4 plus mode of delta T5 divided by total number of observation is 5. So we take the positive values of this error 0.01 plus 0.06 plus 0.20 plus 0.09 plus 0.18 divided by 5. So we get the average absolute error delta T bar is equal to 0.11 second. So answer of the first question, average absolute error is the 0.11 second. Now how we can represent the measurement in terms of the average absolute error? The true value plus minus, right? We get the average absolute error. So we will write the periodic time error by capital T is equal to true value is 2.62 plus minus 0.11 second. Now, how we calculate the relative error? What do you mean by the relative error? The ratio of the average absolute error to the true value is called the relative error. So, relative error is the delta T bar divided by T bar. Delta T bar we get the 0.11 second, and the true value is the 2.62. We get the answer 0.04198. It is approximately equal to 0.042. If you round up this, we get the answer 0.042, right? So now if the relative error is represented in terms of the percentage, it will be a percentage error, right? So percentage error is equal to delta T bar divided by T bar multiplied by 100, or relative error multiplied by 100. 0.042 multiplied by 100, we get the 4.2%. Understand this example, dear student? How you calculate the absolute error, relative error and percentage error. This example is most important for the examination, right? So first how we calculate? First calculate the mean value, right? Mean periodic table time, right? Then calculate the absolute error in all the measurement, then calculate the average absolute error, represent the measurement in terms of the average absolute error, then find the relative error and the percentage error, right? Clear about this example? Now example number 2.8. The temperature of two bodies measured by a thermometer are T1 is equal to 20 degrees Celsius plus minus 0.5 degrees Celsius. So here 20 degrees Celsius is the true value of the temperature, and 0.5 is the average absolute error in a temperature T1, and T2 is equal to 50 degrees Celsius plus or minus 0.5 degrees Celsius. Calculate the temperature difference and the error in it, right? So temperature difference we calculate by T2 minus T1, right? So we take first true value 50 minus 20, we get the 30 value. So true value of the temperature difference is a 30 degrees Celsius. But In the addition or subtraction, the average absolute error must be added in the final result, right? So the average absolute error in a addition or subtraction is a sum of the individual error. So the average absolute error in a temperature difference delta T is equal to the absolute error in a first measurement plus absolute error in a second measurement. Here the error must be added, right? So first measurement error is 0.5, second measurement the error is 0.5, we get the 1 degree Celsius. So temperature difference we get 30 degree Celsius is a true value, and the error in the temperature difference plus minus 1 degree Celsius, right? So dear student, understand all the numericals 2.1 to 2.8. Remaining numericals we will discuss in the next video. So keep watching my video to understand all the numericals of the chapter number 2. Thank you very much for watching my video.